Now, if you're in the markets for the AirPods Pro 2 and you need to know if you should upgrade from the AirPods Pro 1, well, you're going to want to watch this video. If you're also considering which one you should buy, and let's face it, maybe the features aren't that important to you, like the new changes that have taken place, well, you're going to want to watch this video because we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to do call quality tests. We're going to also do feature and audio tests, so you can see which one of these is the one you should pick up. Let's get right to it. Now, before taking a closer look at the AirPods Pro 2, let's talk about some of the specs. There are some improvements when it comes to battery life. We're looking at 6 hours of battery life, and you're also looking at around 30 hours with the case. 5 minutes is going to give you 1 hour of additional power, so that's going to give you a quick charge. Now, if you are using, for example, or if there's a difference between talking, listening to music, active noise canceling, it's slightly negligible. So you're looking at anywhere from 4, 5.5 hours of usage, depending on which mode you're using and how much you're using it, and obviously what volume you're using these at. Now, keep in mind that these also feature active noise canceling, which has improved, spatial audio, which means that it's more, I would say, enveloping. It's like being present in the actual studio where the music took place. We use the term soundstage to describe almost like being present. Well, with spatial audio, it really gives you that experience. Now, one of the things that's really unique about this version of the AirPods Pro 2 is transparency mode, and it's actually one of my favorite features because I do use earbuds often, and I find that having good transparency mode, even super hearing, is really important. But what they also do is they have the ability to process at a very high speed loud noises that could damage your eardrums and could serve also as a way to reduce ambient noise around you. Given how the transparency modes work. Now, keep in mind that you could go A and C, which means you're going to muffle everything out, but the transparency mode, that is actually listening and then bringing down the noise volume, basically it's still allowing you to hear, but it's, again, protecting your hearing. Now, one of the things about these is that they don't have multi-point, which is having your phone and your tablet on at the same time and it being able to switch automatically, as you would with some of the other earbuds that actually have that feature. They actually have an Apple proprietary capability that allows you to switch to each one of the devices. It's kind of multi-point, but it really isn't. And the reason why it's really not, it's because when you use this even on an Android phone, which you can only have it connected to one device at a time. So you don't have that multi-point feature. So you could connect it with an Android phone, but you A, don't have the app, B, you won't have the ability to update these with new firmware requests, and it's, again, not going to support multi-point. Now, these do have Bluetooth 5.3, and they also have an IPX4 rating, which means you're going to be able to use these in the gym. So let's see what's in the box and why you may want to consider this as your next earbud. And we're also going to do our series of call quality and audio tests as well. So make sure you're wearing some earbuds or headphones so you can hear what we heard. Now, in the box, things are pretty simple. You have your AirPods. They do come previously charged, and they come in their case. You get a proprietary Lightning adapter with USB-C on one side, no charging brick, right? Even though you're paying a pretty penny. And what you do have, though, is a set of earbuds tips that are going to allow you to get a better fit. And once again, when you're wearing these, if one ear tends to fall out, just change the size. You don't have to have them paired like the same size on each one, but you could actually do one of these, or you could do one of these, depending on, again, the size of your ear canal. Our ears, the canal themselves, are not 100% the same, so you can switch things up, and I like that they've included these. Now, as we take a look at the case itself, a lot has changed here, and a lot has remained the same too. So first of all, what you'll notice is that there's a little lanyard here, so you can put a little lanyard here and have it on your wrist if you'd like to, or connect it to your purse or your backpack. That's something you can do, although I keep it in the inside. You'll also notice that there's some speakers here, and the speaker here is going to allow you to ring the case in case you misplace it. It looks like a lot of people misplace their cases. Hasn't happened to me before. And then it also allows you to identify your phone in the event that you put your, well, not your phone, identify your earbuds in the event that you put your earbuds in the wrong case. So it looks like that happens a lot too. Never happened to me, and I have lots of them, but okay. You also then have your, again, your charging port here, which is unfortunately still proprietary. Now, one of the other cool things that has happened with this is that it is a MagSafe friendly charger. So MagSafe does two things. It's not just Qi charging, but it also aligns with the magnet here. So watch this. I'm going to power this battery back up, and it's lit up. And then when I put it here, it's charging. So now it actually almost guided itself. So there's no trying to hunt for your sweet spot. it just connects, and you'll notice it. You know, it's relatively secure when it's in this position. So it's pretty cool that you could do this, and that means that any MagSafe device that you have is going to charge it as well. Now, outside of that, when we open up the AirPods, they're going to connect automatically with your iPhone. As we take a look at these, they pretty much look the same. I'm going to put this right here, and then I'm going to take the Gen 1s out, and I'm going to put them side by side. Make sure these are cleaned off. And if you look at them just like this, at first glance, you can't tell them apart. However, check this out. The top is where you can tell the difference. See that little venting port there? That's where you can tell the difference. All right, that side looks pretty much the same, although this is a little bit wider. And then what you have is, again, the ability to control things on the stem as you did before, but they're pretty much, they look the same, right? So that's one thing. So if you're worried about, hey, is someone going to be able to tell if I have the new AirPods or not? No, they're going to look the same. As far as how they fit go, or the fit themselves, this is what the fit looks like. AirPods, I like that they're tapered, especially these, the Pros, because they have that kind of lower, shorter stem. And what I'll do is I'll turn to the right, and then I'll turn to the left, and this is what they look like. They're AirPods. They're comfortable. I've worn these for 5-6 hours at a time. You could use them independently, so if you want to just have one in one ear, you can. And you can use them, as I mentioned, on an Android phone. You pair them just by simply, if we take a look at the case really quick, there's this blue button, or not blue button, this little pairing button right here, that what you do is you press it, the light's going to light up, it's going to start to flash, and then when it starts flashing, you open up the case, and then you'll get into pairing mode, and you'll be able to pair it on your Android phone, Android tablet. It's going to work fine. The only thing that you're going to be missing is, again, the app that you could use to update the firmware. You have to use an iPad, or you have to use an iPhone, and unfortunately it's not where you hit a button and says update. It kind of connects and then it just does its thing. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't. Now we're going to do a call quality test of the AirPods Pro 2 in a quiet environment. We take a look at our decibel readings. Anywhere between 26 and 28 decibels of noise. It's going to switch. Now this is what the AirPods 2 will sound like in a quiet environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. Again, this is what the AirPods Pro 2 sound like in a quiet environment. So we're going to add some wind to the environment. Now this is what the AirPods 2 Pros would sound like with the wind in the environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we've added more noise to the environment. As you can see here, our decibel readings are anywhere between 36 and 79 decibels of noise. What we're going to be doing is we're going to switch the AirPods Pro 2. We're going to stay quiet for a couple seconds, and then we'll continue our audio test. Let's go to switch. Now this is what the AirPods Pro 2 sound like in a noisy environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're continuing our test with the AirPods 2 Pro, but this time with an infant crying in the background. This is what they're going to sound like if an infant were crying in the background. Now if you're wondering what the AirPods Pro 2 would sound like with a dog barking in the background, this is what they're going to sound like with dogs barking in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they would sound like with a doorbell ringing in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with the doorbell ringing in the background. Now, next we're going to do a call quality test of the AirPods Pro first generation in a quiet environment. If we take a look at our decibel readings, anywhere between 26 and 20 decibels of noise. It's going to switch. Now, this is what the AirPods Pro Gen 1 sound like in a quiet environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Let's go ahead and add some wind to the environment. Now, this is what the AirPods Pro Gen 1 sound like in a quiet environment with wind. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're adding a significant amount of noise to the environment. As you can see here, anywhere between 42 and 80 decibels in noise. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to the AirPods Pro to Gen 1, stay quiet to see how much is canceled, and then we'll continue with the audio test. Let's go to switch. Now this is what the AirPods Pro first gen sound like in a noisy environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now if you're wondering what the AirPods Pro Gen 1 sound like with an infant crying in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with an infant crying in the background. Now if you're wondering what the AirPods Pro Gen 1 sound like with a dog barking in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with a dog barking in the background. Now if you're wondering what the AirPods Gen 1 sound like with a doorbell ringing, well, this is what they're going to sound like if a doorbell was ringing. So let's talk about audio quality. How do they sound? Well, bass is there, mids are there, highs are there. You have great music separation. All that stuff is nicely present. How is active noise canceling? Active noise canceling has improved as well. Are they better than the Bose new QC2s? No, absolutely not. I just got off of a plane trip recently, and I have to tell you that I can, I think at this point, put away my large, let's say headphones, my cans away, and literally get on planes with the small QCs because they're that good. So these don't compete with them, but they are improved. They are better than before.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking.
So guys, that wraps up our review of the AirPods Pro 2. See you in the next video.